Oh, welcome in to another episode of the Director's Chair. And I ain't gonna lie, this is a really special interview for me right now, man. Like, this is one of my closest friends. Just to see the kind of growth he's made to the point where he's here at Rolling Out, man. Please, everybody,
My brother.
welcome my brother,
No.
Coda, to
Yes,
the
sir.
Director's Chair.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. If you don't mind, I like to start just with a little excerpt before we get into
I know you would do something like this.
All right.
but
You know, I got to.
Let's
It
go.
wouldn't be me if
It's
I
for you.
wouldn't. You know what
You're
I'm
right. It
saying?
wouldn't be you if it wasn't. Let's go, Coda. It's all
So,
you.
I would just like to tell people out there, I don't make films. I trap time. I like to take different things from people's stories and kind of bring it into a truth that brings us all together and reminds us that we're all one. So, yeah, just understand that this is something bigger than just spoon feeding you something to watch and digest. It's more of something for you to understand that we're all together, we're one, and that's my goal as a filmmaker. So, yes.
That's
Let's get
beautiful,
into it.
brother, man.
Yes, sir.
Perfect intro.
Appreciate
Perfect
you.
intro. I love it. So
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna dive right into it because
Let's
even
do
though
it.
I known you, I never figured out this exact reason. When I met you, bro, you was a star athlete, bro. You was a basketball player. You was hooping. Why did you transition into videography?
God's purpose.
I like that. Amen to that.
You might have an innate natural ability that has a clear-cut path for you, but there's something that's tugging at your heart.
Yeah.
And that you when you go to sleep every night, you think about it. When you wake up, you think about it. But because your flesh sees this already written path
that you want to be on so bad.
and all of your peers and your family, as you know, are around you telling you that this is it. This is your thing. This is what you're gonna do. And you have to realize that at the end of every day, when the door closes and everybody's gone, it's just you. So if you are not 1000% with your decision, then it's just not going to work. So I made the decision my senior year after going on all of my college visits, Georgia State, Florida State, Stanford, NYU, all of those things. I declined all of those offers.
He's not lying either, because that he was a freshman. He was a freshman dorms with me. He wasn't lying either.
Declined all of those offers and decided to follow my life's true purpose, what I felt was my life's true purpose, and that is creating and sharing stories at a high level. So yeah, that's why we ended up where we ended up at, Georgia State.
I'm happy I finally got that answer. So,
Finally.
so like I said, you joined me at Georgia State.
Yes, sir.
What did you learn at your time at Georgia State? I ain't gonna throw you on the bed and say how long you spent at Georgia State, but
Don't do that. No need to do that. No need to
what
do
did
that.
you learn your freshman year at Georgia State?
I would say honestly, what I learned my freshman year at Georgia State was I went to school for merchandise marketing, and I ended up within the first 3 months of school getting a job at Bloomingdale's as a merchandise marketer. And that had nothing to do with me being in school or what I was pursuing. It had everything to do with me finding a mentor and my mentor having that relationship and connecting that dot for me. So to circle back to what you're saying, what I learned my freshman year at State is you're only as good as the relationships that you build. You get what I'm saying? So
Sure.
the classes and the technicality of things, if you're a doctor or a lawyer, there's certain things that are needed, certifications and things like that. But when it comes to business or this creative field, you have to actually go out there and live it and do it. There is no there's no class for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I learned for sure. Definitely.
I would say too, and it just flashed in my mind. I remember, bro, you wanted us YouTubing before anybody was YouTubing. I'll always remember, bro. It was him, and we had like a group of 4 of us that used to kick it all the time, bro. We just eating in Patton Hall. I know y'all remember Patton Hall, 24/7 Don Hall.
Don't play.
And bro, we was in there, and Jordan was like, bro, like, let's start recording the stuff we do. Like let's start this whole little like he wanted to be A&P before A&P, but us, we're like, bro, we're not recording that, bro. We don't care. That look lame, bro. Like
too cool for
Too cool for
Ain't
school.
nobody
Now
doing
look,
that.
now look. Now that's what everybody's doing nowadays, bro.
It's the thing, but it's just it's vision, bro. It's understanding. We had this conversation off camera about understanding the special time that we're in now,
Right now.
and
Yep.
being able to document life. And if you have an eclectic group of friends like how we do, where everybody is successful in their own realm and right,
Yep.
it's just something that I felt the world needed to see. You know what I mean? Because we need representation.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so having somebody who's a clothing brand owner, having somebody who's a Grammy award winning producer, having somebody who owns one of the most popular stores in Atlanta, like, you're seeing a dynamic where these younger kids need to see, oh, wait, I don't need to go into sports.
I don't gotta be an athlete. I don't gotta be in the streets. I don't gotta be a rapper.
These are like, this is like some
You are
real,
absolutely right.
real like shit that people can actually attain. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like that was what we needed to do, and we did it. We still did it. We
still ended up doing it. We just we did it when you said it. We probably all be like millionaires times 10 by now. But hey, we still gonna get the million. So it's okay. It's okay. So you left Georgia State, went to Cali. How was that experience?
Cali was a beautiful experience. It was transcendent, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's really one of those sink or swim things, right? So I went to Cali with $1,000 in a suitcase and no idea how I was going to make it happen. So I was like, you know what? From what I learned was everything's about relationships. Let me just get out here, get in the field, walk around, see the city, let that energy be felt, right? And so I used to always hang out in downtown LA at this one print shop where they used to like make, silk screen tees and all of that. And one day I seen this kid walking with his camera, and I'm big on vision boards, like knowing exactly what you want. So I knew when I went out to California, I was like, find a videographer. You
had a plan.
I had a plan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how I was going to execute these things, but I knew I was like, this is what needs to happen.
On a checklist that I got to hit.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing about doing that is God hears you when you actually make a plan and are locked in. And, he's going to laugh at your plan because you're going to have the idea of it and it's going to be presented, but you got to be able to have your own discernment and know, what's actually happening. So I saw this kid walking by the store with his camera and I was like, that's him. So I asked him, I was like, yo, like, do you do videos, whatever, would you mind, coming in and, following me around for a day and just, documenting what I'm doing. Now, mind you, this is, I don't want to put it out there, but this is just a random white kid, from Pittsburgh that was like, yeah, I'm about to just follow this black kid that I don't know from Atlanta and just see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know it was God, because it was just like it didn't make sense.
It flowed too easy.
It happened too easy. It happened way too easily. So that was the start. Sure.
So you found a videographer. Y'all start shooting music videos. Yes. Tell me about that experience? Like some of the people and the times y'all had, and what did it teach you during that time?
It taught me a lot about running a business, so how that even happened is I was down to my last $2,000, rent's due. That's about the rent.
In Cali, that's definitely at least that's the minimum the rent gonna be.
And so I had this innate feeling that I'm like, yo, it's Coachella weekend. We gonna find somebody out in Coachella that's gonna take this to the moon. I spent the last $2,000 I had on getting a Range Rover and driving down 3 hours from LA to Indio off of a feeling. Yeah. This could have went completely sour, right? So we pull up to the only connection that I had out there. He had a house and they were having like a little mansion party for an app during the time. And that's where I met A$AP Rocky's team, AUG during that time, the AUG team. Yeah. And so I hit it off with them, and I met this other gentleman, and he was like, yo, I love what you got going on, the vibe and energy of everything. Come meet me at my office in Beverly Hills tomorrow. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm stressing in the back of my mind, like, damn, I really just spent all this money come out here and nothing really shake. It's just like soft leads, right? So I pulled up to his office that next day, and right then and there, he wrote us a check for $10,000.
Wow.
With my name on it. And I did not turn the camera on yet. I did not do any work yet. And so I was like, oh, we might be on to something. And then that's kind of how we dove into the music video space, working with his management company and all of the artists that they were currently working with at the time, which now has one of the artists has a feature on Beyonce's album. I just had to put that out there, but you know what I'm saying?
He was looking with the big dogs, dogs. I know, but before we get into the Warner side, I know like you guys started doing sports content.
Yes. So from our background, like you said before, you know, we were athletes in high school growing up, and so a lot of our friends, you know, where we're from, if you're not familiar, the North Side.
The North Side, bro, where athletes is raised and bred. Don't play.
The North Side, North Side. Okay, understand that. So what people don't understand about the North Side is we breed superstar athletes.
Superstar.
That is what we do, and that's of every realm. That's baseball, Austin Meadows. Yeah. That's football. That's soccer, your brother. Yeah. It spans. It spans, and so a lot of our relationships. I had friends and, you know, people who made it to the NFL, made it to the NBA, different things like that. So they saw what we were doing in the music video space, and they kind of reached out and were like, "Hey, I got to start kind of doing."
I forgot, bro. When was like first round tackle, right?
No, literally first round.
Charles, right?
First round, yeah, Charles. Yep. So, and it's so crazy because all of our friends are O-linemen, which is
why are we kicking it with these big
nobody's like a receiver. I think I got like one receiver friend or whatever, but yeah, man. So they hit us up and they were like, "Yo, we need this off-field media," and I was like, it wasn't a space that I was super familiar with, but I was confident in at least building out being able to bring it to life, and that turned into something so much major because what we were doing was providing these guys, they were getting deals out of it now. Now they're getting sponsorships for brands because, you know, if you're not a receiver or
they don't know quarterback,
they don't know who you are. And so now we're giving, you know, these men who are, you know, if you're a tackle, if you understand the football space, that's the person protecting your biggest asset, which is the quarterback. And so he's as important as that man.
He's as important, but you don't care. The television doesn't care. The brands don't care.
Exactly. So that was our job. And the fact that we were able to do that for a few different individuals, you know, Laramie Tunsil, and different people like Charles Cross, you know, it was a beautiful thing to see that we were able to add value with what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we ended up in the NFL sports space.
And then not too long after that, Warner Bros. Comes calling, right?
Yes.
Warner Bros., one of the biggest labels in the world, started giving, not just calling, giving you budgets, big budgets.
Right.
And y'all start shooting with BK the Ruler, Digital Nas, a couple of the other artists.
100%.
Tell me what did you learn the most about that experience, and did you truly enjoy it?
Great question. I would say the biggest thing I learned during that experience is how to properly manage a team. How to properly manage a big budget. That was definitely the first time ever in my career that I received that much money to my name,
lump sum,
at one time, and then was kind of told, "Here you go." Like, oh, but we also need it to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving you this money, but I'm gonna need that back in some sort of way, right? So
that video better hit and better do its numbers on YouTube.
It better hit.
Pretty much is what they were saying.
Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? So it was very nerve-wracking, you know, going through that. But again, it's that sink or swim, you know, mentality. And I just kind of understand that God's purpose for me is so much bigger than whatever small obstacle or fear that I might have that's in front of me. So managing big budgets was something huge that I learned during that time for sure. And it was a great time. Like I had a great time, you know, doing those videos, doing like the tour life stuff and all of that, but it's hectic. It's a hectic world. It's a lot of work for little recognition. Yeah. You don't know that we've made
this whole
videos
we made this whole situation.
Millions of views, thousands of subscribers. You would never know that we're the ones that have spearheaded that process from concept idea to
Ideation
execution.
to execution.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm super okay with that. I'm super okay with the lack of recognition because that's not what it's for. It's for the work. The work is what's supposed to be seen, right? But when you become invested into your business, you start to understand IP and owning that. And when I was realizing working with labels like that, I'm signing away my IP.
Yeah, you don't own it.
I'm creating this thing for you to now be like, this is mine and I can do what I want to do with it. And so that's where I kind of had to start to slowly transition out of there. But it was a great experience for sure.
It was a great choice to transition out of that space. And now, a couple years later, you have Emmy and Oscar eligible films.
Yes, sir.
Could you kind of talk to us about that? I don't know if I'm allowed to say the names.
Yeah. No, we can't go too deep into all of the names, but so yeah, as I transitioned out of that space, I kind of had to ask myself what I wanted in this, out of this film and videos and things like that. And as much as I love being in a production space of helping clients and different things like that, I had to really sit back and be like, what do I want to do? And I want to tell stories. I want to tell our stories. I want to tell other people's stories. And the only way to do that was to get into the film and television space. So I didn't want to dabble. I like to jump straight into the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love to go straight into the ocean and figure it out. And so I was like, okay, we can either make short films and post them on YouTube or, be on the socials with all these other amazing filmmakers out there, which a lot of y'all I watch and I love. But I had to be like, I want this to be major. I want to be one of the greats. Right. And so, again, like how I did my freshman year, I went out and, did the research and found a mentor, if you will. So who I'm partnering with, is a 4-time Emmy winner already. Wow. His name is Dr. Lewis Jones. And I was working on a project that he was very interested in, and then let me know that he had this opportunity to help with producing, 10 projects. And if anybody's in the film space, they understand that, like, you might have somebody working on one project for 6 months at a time. In 1 year, they might get 3 good ones out. And so when I heard that, I was just like, okay, like sounds good, right? But we started, and it was about 6 months ago when we started this process, and we just wrapped on all 10 projects that are now Emmy and Oscar.
You're moving like Tyler Perry for real, man.
Come on,
I ain't gonna lie, that's
the
crazy.
goal. That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's bigger than just creating something to just be seen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you want this to last.
This is a world that we're building. Like, I want to have studio lots and things like that. We're not just creating projects to just digest anymore.
I hear you'll be in France too, right?
You know it. So that's kind of under wraps, but out of those 10 projects,
I didn't mean to pull it out the box.
No, you good. You good. You know what I'm saying? You family, so I'm gonna let you have all the exclusive. But yeah, 3 of those projects are eligible for the Cannes Film Festival out in France.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, that's one of those things where it's a surreal thing, but we're athletes first. And one quote that stays in my mind from one of my favorites, R.I.P. Kobe, is job's not done yet.
Job's not done.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nominations and eligibilities and all of these things are great, but you got to have this tunnel vision of where are we trying to get with this? You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of the space that we're in right now. But we are extremely grateful for everything and all this recognition for sure.
Nah, dope. Congrats on all your success.
Appreciate it.
I know too. Also, you're starting a production studio, right? Or you're opening a production studio.
Yes, man. So Eye Candy Studios. That is
fire name, by the way, too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just know anytime you see an Eye Candy Studios logo pop up, it's going to be something, just a visual experience, a ethereal experience, if you will. But yeah, no, the goal with Eye Candy Studios is to build our own production studio lot and, have our own sound stages, have our own, theaters on the lot, and build
have your own Tyler Perry Studios.
That is exactly
pretty much. I love
the
that
goal. You know what I mean? I'm a stickler for not really reinventing the wheel. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You already see that this path has been laid out. It works. Go do it. Yeah. 50 Cent, Shreveport, done it. Cat Williams, Alabama, doing it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I know where my vision is for this, and Eye Candy Studios is the that's the main thing, man.
So you've done music videos, you've done YouTube videos, you've done short form content, long form content, documentaries.
Everything.
What is your favorite type of video to shoot?
That's a great question. My favorite type of video to shoot, I would say, right now, and this could change, is documentary style content because it's just the most raw.
Yeah.
You're telling a story in a
Absolutely.
way that is not fabricated in any way, shape, or form. And in this digital era and time, that's how people learn. People learn from, visual. You get what I'm saying? And so if I can be a part of dynamic stories that I feel we're going to care to talk about 10, 15, 20 years from now,
Absolutely.
I love documentary work. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just so many interesting and special individuals out here, even the ones that live their everyday life and think that they're not important to the world. He
Have a story to tell.
He's a janitor at an elementary school, but little do you know his story is riveting and motivates you.
Absolutely.
As an NFL athlete. You get what I'm saying? And so it's just that I feel like that's my job, is to, just make people feel again. I want you to feel again. That's it.
If you could direct a documentary for any athlete, who would it be and why?
Easy. The Bean, man.
Rest in peace, Kobe, man. I forgot, bro.
Kobe,
Yeah,
man.
who am I asking right now,
that's
bro? Like,
easy. Nah, like Kobe would have been my go-to, man. That's just it's so much deeper to have somebody with such a delusional and raw passion to their thing, where it's like,
I don't care what you tell me,
bro, it's literally like assassin level energy. And you can't tell me that that's just not super intriguing. And the only person that I would say that I've been around, which is crazy because he's also passed away as well, R.I.P., that had that same energy, was Nipsey Hussle.
Yep.
Nipsey Hussle has that same energy. He was not a major recording artist. That is not a major, like, if we're gonna talk streams and all of that, but a presence and something that is bigger than life, and their mission is, that's my person. That's my guy.
And I guess my last question for you would be, for that kid, 18, 19 years, for that kid, 18 or 19 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I don't got no money. I don't know where to go to next. I don't know what I want to do, but I know I love to create. I know I'm a creative. The athlete dream ain't work. The school ain't for me. Give some advice. Like, what should that person be doing, and how should he move?
One, pray for clarity and to shut out all the noise, because y'all have a lot of noise right now.
So much noise.
Social media, family, friends. There's so many things telling you what you're not doing that it's causing unnecessary anxiety. So first and foremost, find whatever it is that you believe in and pray for that clarity. Once you've done that, wake up and do the work every single day. There should not be one 24-hour day that goes by where you are not doing 1% of something towards the absolute vision. And whether that's personal development, and it could be something as simple as going to the gym. Having those daily habits, I'm trying to tell you, will compound. Like, you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know A, B, C, D, you know what I mean? But as long as you wake up every day, you're already doing more than 80% of the world. And I can say that with super confidence. Wow. So that's the advice I would give to the youth right now, for sure.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a gem right there, and I hope y'all listen to that one. But I just want to say thank you so much, Coda. Like,
Of course, my guy.
just know you
Family.
inspire me, bro. You my brother, and
Likewise.
I've seen the progression, bro. So like, I love what you're doing. I already know we're gonna be shooting docs with
Likewise,
LeBron
man. You
and
already
all these
know.
other people.
Yeah,
out
we
here.
gonna-
So
Y'all gonna see him as a reporter on a movie.
you gonna see me in a lot of his shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's a little nepotism. It's all good.
Hey, family first. What we talking about, man? But thank you for being on the director's chair, Coda. Tell everybody where we could stream your stuff or follow you at to find when you will be releasing your stuff.
Sure. So follow me on Instagram. It's Coda, CODA.films with a Z. As for streaming, hold off on that because you're gonna
Sorry,
have to
y'all.
actually
Sorry,
buy
y'all.
your tickets and buy your popcorn. We are movie theater
Hello.
individuals. You can't stream this. You got to go and actually see it in the theater. So,
Hey, you heard the man.
yeah, man.
Sorry to burst the bubble.
That's what we got going on in Eye Candy Studios. That's us.
Coming very soon.
Coming soon, man. Much love, bro. Really
Appreciate you, Coda. And we rolling out. Hello.
Come on, man. Nardwar.